Okay. Um, you see this wholesome video. Now, in my last video, they did this disgusting stimulation toward this kid, still like very much a kid, like a 12-year old, about 12, 11 or 12. And this kid was dancing in these ways, and they were like, honestly, were sexual ways. She was like, it was, even though it was like a dance for like, I think a challenge or whatever, she was dancing. As I'm saying that they like to do this thing, my tongue, but let me just calmly speak. She was dancing in this sexual way, and that was that. She was literally like trying to shake around, moving and doing this like dances, and they did this disgusting stimulation, which I should expect. That's what they do. They do the pedophilia type of torture. They do these things systematically, and then they try to make you accept this. And every time they do this, they try to make you accept these things. They tell you random things. For example, somebody say, you'll despair. As expected, target individual, we're going to live a rough life. And that's the way it goes, because as human subjects, and as they do these things to us, they try to break us down. And so when they do these pedophilia things, they come out, yell something, make noise campaign. The whole goal is for you to accept this person that they've created. Now, this is a wholesome video. This is the kind of video that I will watch all day, every day. This is the stuff I love to watch. I truly love watching this wholesome, like everybody else. Actually, I'm not unique in that. It's wholesome for everybody. It's adorable. It's cute. It feels good. It's a feel good. But for me now, these things have been turned into some disturbing things. These bottom feeders working for pedophiles have forced me to experience this disgusting nastiness. This trash the government contracts, then do make noise campaign. For example, somebody opens the door, says something in this agitating voices. You'll fall. You'll despair. And I think that's her voice that's supposed to sound agitating, right? When she speaks in that way, she's trying to disorient me, make me acceptive of these manipulations, and stop me from saying that these pedophilia things is what they do. Please understand, in person that doesn't happen, huh? In person, first of all, she will be seen. You see, look at this person. He's like, this is the trash who's supposed to gaslight you into accepting things. Look at her. She can't even. But they want you to accept these nasty things. For me, it's been disturbing. These are the things I truly miss watching, but I detest watching today, because what's going to happen, I'm going to get disgusting reaction. I'm going to get reaction that is sexual toward these innocent things, innocent videos. So when they do this like to a 12-year-old kid that was like, even though she's obviously a child, and they're dancing and do it, it's like, listen, this is the babies, you can do that too. Everything about this is wholesome. And then they try to be like, no, but what we did is we made you experience something that you experienced when you were a kid. Matter of fact, when I was looking at the earring of this kid, they do this thing with earring where they kind of flip things around. When I was a child, I had a thing for like small earrings, like the small one. It made me want to throw up. It was something that disturbed me. I looked at it and always wanted to like gag, because I always imagined choking on it. I don't know why. It was something I used to have when I was very young. The way they've changed it today is the opposite. They give me stimulations and make me think of like doing something like disturbing. So when I saw this little girl's earrings, they started doing some weird feelings, like sensations and stimulations. When I was a child, when I saw that, it was like, ugh, it made me want to throw up. It's something that made me not like wanting to throw up or feel like sick. Not sick, but like gag. They flipped it and rewired it in something else. And they're like, no black girls, remember? And they try to give me this feeling. And I mean, this black girl feeling they make me experience goes as young as 9 years old. They say when you were 9 years old, that's how you felt, black girls. We mapped it. It's so nasty. And then if they want to make me think of, okay, something I actually did as a kid, it's like, oh, I remember what you did when I was in middle school. There's some stupid thing. I was a child. I'm not a fucking child. You're not mapping me. You are manipulating me to experience these disgusting things. But I'm not the only one. These wholesome things will never be the same. Especially if they're black girls, huh? Black girls is when they try to be like, no, you felt like that. And they try to really like press things in my brain to make me think that, you felt like that. He's like, no, I didn't feel like that. You're making me feel like that. And the thing is, they try to find a way to mimic something in your child. It's like they try to make it almost the same but change certain things. Like I said, the earrings, instead of the earrings making me wanting to throw up or whatever, they just change into something else. They rewire things and change them. But they do that in your childhood. So you could be like, oh my gosh, you feel like when I was like 10 years old. Continuously trying to make you accept this manipulation in these retarded ways of like, no, we just made you think the way you think when you were a child. And then having to counter the fact that they do this pedophilia type of torture. They do these nasty things. This wholesome thing, you know how many I've watched this many all kind of like the typical wholesome videos. This is the things I love to watch. Now disturbed. But one thing is for sure. As the term is over, which is basically get back to the usual. Listen to what they do. It's gonna sound familiar. And think about it. Do you think they're making me think the way I was thinking when I was a child? Or they perhaps doing the pedophilia type of torture they do? And think what I just said. Making you think the way you think when you're a child. And by the way, at the end, you're going to hear what they do to children. Just in case you forget that they torture children.
Skull. This involves the projection of voices, noises, and music directly into my mind to communicate with me in real time and at the speed of thought. And it also includes the manipulation of thoughts, emotions, and perceptions in the person's mind. Additionally, the targeting is all highly perverted and sexual, as well as just
able to impose any information on the brain of a person, presumably by some kind of waves, which in the mind take the form of voices, thoughts, and images in imagination. In addition to this kind of implanting information that they need, they manipulate the psyche so that the information is written into your memory. Then by stimulating the certain regions in the brain, they can retrieve this information and present it as your own memory. This is the conclusion that can be made judging by the influence they have been making on me with their psychotronic weapons, for example, artificial thoughts, imagination, and mental torture.
End my life. It's somebody trying to end who I am as a person. It's somebody trying to take over my mind, putting thoughts of pedophiles. Like this disgusting things. You saw where I was going with that first word. Disgusting things that I don't even want to talk about because it makes me sick. I don't even like those words in my mind. But it is what it is. So I have no choice now but to acknowledge that there are people in my surroundings or whatever they're doing. I don't know how they do it. I don't care. I don't know if it's through weapons. I don't know.
as malodorants. This is the alteration of the smell sensation so that I am often made to smell various things, including smoke, burning, dirty diaper, or baby powder, which they sometimes combine with the pedophilia type of torture, including the threat of planted.
Human breakdown tactic of belief systems into human will. In no-touch torture, the techniques are more psychologically specialized for each target. Most common examples include homosexual targets that are forced with voices that are derogatory to their lifestyle and similar mental images. Almost all targets are forced to view child pornography in their minds.
It would never take my will, and since we all know how the psychopaths groups work with what the TI says or does, then they started during the nights to run some kind of beam where suddenly I've been wakened up at 3 o'clock in the mornings and some kind of voice comes and say phrases, sound incomprehensible, and some other sometimes can actually catch what is saying, ITS not my voice, a different voice, and I realize that they are trying to program for me to take it in a way that I won't notice a possible change in my behavior. Of course this is not new, because one main thing this program is out there, is called behavior modification for the undesirable, and that's one of the excuses this groups give for the neighbor TO join, deception. I learned to talk back, in my mind, during the process when I was awakened, and I would say demeaning things, that I cannot repeat it in this blog, you know what I mean. Since they had violated me for so long, I decided to aggravate them with words, in my mind, I can hear my own voice. I told them I'm going to make you pay for all of the years of torture that I've taken, and all you are going to here is aggravation. For every single second of my privacy that you have taken away. From me and my family. Then said this, the slaves began a program of perversion. First was with my dog. I am very playful with my pet, and suddenly one day that I was petting him I felt strange, in the sense of the word. I thought, this is strange, and then afterwards that strange sensation continued. Then in that moment I realized that was impost, so I thought, look at this losers, don't know how to put me down, and they are doing this. So I told them that I know what you are trying to do, and I started laughing, and then I said again out loud, you'll never take my will, ASS, so just to show them that I meant what I said, I kept playing with my dog, and even though that attacks continue, I don't let them get me. Today they continue with the programming of perversion, but this time they are aiming in the use. A people, better said young people, also
observed her gasping for air a few times in the same way that I do when I am being more severely suffocated. The suffocation had been in a mild state for a while up until this point. Many of their torture methods are cyclical in severity. Right after I saw this child being suffocated, then I began to experience very extreme suffocation all day, every day, for about 2 months straight, and that's also when they made it worse when I eat. Then I also work with a 4-year-old little girl with Down syndrome, as well as her 5-year-old sister who also has Down syndrome. I observed both of these girls suddenly grabbing their genitals in pain and verbalizing, ow. I observed this at least on 1 or 2 occasions for each of them during their separate sessions.
And almost all the TI victims, TI stands for targeted individuals. Some of them are pretty crazy. They have names like Alice in Wonderland, Wizard of Oz, and those are the confusion tactics. And when they're breaking down the ego of the human through all the pains and tortures and the verbal breakdown, these are typical CIA torture scripts.
CIA raping children and sexually assaulting children, and they're not being prosecuted? Where are you? Oh, that's the thing.
With a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old, he was simply fired. One employee purchased sexually explicit videos of young girls filmed by their mothers. He resigned. One employee estimated that he had viewed up to 1,400 sexually abusive images of children while on agency assignments. Not sure what actions, if any, were taken by him. One contractor arranged for sex with an undercover FBI agent. I think that you mentioned that. Posing as a child, he had his contract revoked. One CIA staffer was charged with child sexual crimes, and the employee was also under investigation for mishandling classified material. The CIA did not answer detailed questions, saying only that the agency takes all allegations of possible criminal misconduct committed by personnel seriously. So you're saying the reason why they didn't take this more seriously, why there weren't actual prosecutions that were carried out, is because what they were trying to not only protect their agency, but trying to protect the country from being compromised in some way by our foreign enemies who would use this information in some kind of bribery scheme?
I think that it's actually quite worse than that.
The viewing of images of abuse have been uncovered at other agencies that handle sensitive information. In a November 2009 report, the Department of Defense acknowledged that dozens of Pentagon staff members or contractors had such images. In 2014, the Inspector General of the Intelligence Community found that 2 officials from the National Reconnaissance Office, which oversees America's spy satellites acknowledge viewing images of child sexual abuse during polygraph examinations. This is so disturbing. At a symposium in 2016, Daniel Payne, a top Pentagon security official, said that when workers' computers were examined, the amount of child porn I see is just unbelievable.